countries have reacted to this in many ways, some very successfully, some more or less successfully. One is at the bottom of the barrel. That's us. The United States is the only major country that cannot even provide data to the World Health Organization because it's so dysfunctional. There's a background. Part of the background is the scandalous healthcare system, which simply is not ready for anything that out of the normal. It simply doesn't work. And this is exacerbated by the strange collection of gangsters in Washington who have, it's almost as if they systematically took every possible step to make it as bad as possible. Through Trump's term, the last 4 years, there's been systematically cutting back on all of the health-related aspects of the government. Pentagon goes up, building his wall goes up, but anything that might benefit the general population goes down, particularly health. Some of it is almost surreal. So in October, for example, just with very exquisite timing, he canceled completely a USAID project, PREDICT it was called, that was working in third world countries, also in China, to try to detect new viruses that might turn into the anticipated pandemic. And in fact, it was anticipated since, at least since the SARS epidemic in 2003. So we have a kind of combination of factors, and some of them specific to the United States. There were some efforts, nevertheless, to try to prepare for this. Right now in New York and other places, doctors and nurses are forced to make agonizing decisions about who to kill. Not a nice decision to make, because they simply don't have equipment, and the main lack is ventilators, huge shortage of ventilators. Well, the Obama administration did make an effort to try to prepare for this, and this kind of dramatically reveals the kind of factors that are leading to catastrophe. They contracted with a small company that was producing high-quality, low-cost ventilators. The company was bought up by a larger one, Covidian, which makes fancy, expensive ventilators. And they shelved the project. Presumably they didn't want competition with their own costly ones. Shortly after that, they turned to the government and said they wanted the contract ended. The reason was it was not profitable enough, so therefore no ventilators. We have the same thing in hospitals. Hospitals are, under the neoliberal programs, are supposed to be efficient, meaning no spare capacity, just enough beds to get by. And in fact, plenty of people, me included, can testify that even the best hospitals caused great pain and suffering to patients even before this broke out, because of this just-on-time efficiency concept that was guiding our privatized for-profit healthcare system. When anything hits out of the normal, it's just tough luck. And this runs across the system. So we have a combination of capitalist logic, which is lethal, but could be controlled, but it can't be controlled under the neoliberal programs, which also say the government can't step in to pick up the ball when the private sector doesn't. On top of that, now this becomes specific to the United States, we have a freak show in Washington, a totally dysfunctional government, which is causing enormous problems. And it's not that nothing was known. Uh, a pandemic was anticipated all through Trump's term, even before. His reaction was to cut back preparation for it. Astonishingly, this continued even after the pandemic hit. So on February 10th, when it was already serious, Trump released his budget for the coming year. Take a look at it. The budget continues the defunding of the Center for Disease Control and other government institutions responsible for health, continues to defund them. It increases funding for some things, like fossil fuel production, gives new subsidies to the fossil fuel industries. I mean, it's as if the country is simply, maybe not as if, the country is simply run by sociopaths. And the result, so we cut back on the efforts to deal with the pandemic that's taking shape, and we increase the efforts to destroy the environment, the efforts in which the United States under Trump is in the lead in racing to the abyss. And bear in mind that that's, I don't have to tell you, is a far more serious threat than the coronavirus. Now, this is bad, serious, particularly in the United States, but we'll recover somehow at severe cost. We're not going to recover from the melting of the polar ice sheets, which is leading to a feedback effect, well known, that increases as they melt. There's less reflective surface, more absorption, and the dark seas, the warming that's melting them increases. That's just one of the factors that's leading to destruction unless we do something about it. And it's not a secret.